Hello. We have contemplated making a tutorial to discuss this issue and decided several times not to, but again, it reared its head even last week about where the data is once you have the ultimate computer accident. Several times I've been called because a computer's been stolen or destroyed or just the occasional hard drive crash. So this is really not an NDS issue, but I just want to show you some functionality so I don't have to get that phone call one more time about where's my data. The idea is that you can go into the settings of the program, and in settings you will notice that information language option database and the backup right here. So the functionality would be to take this backup option, and you can either manually back up, which the program will prompt you to create a manual backup, and you can set the days and you can even set the path. But after meeting with a group in the last month, their idea was really fantastic in the fact that the creators and the RUM&N company have this automatic backup session or option here, so you can enable an automatic backup and check that, and then just put in every week, every day, every 3 days. But the great part of this is now with the advent of whether it's Google, OneDrive, or Dropbox, you can stick your backup for the entire NDS system on the cloud rather easily. And whether it's OneDrive or Dropbox, these things will sync periodically, and so your database will be up in the cloud and not on some tape backup or some thumb drive. The cloud, again, we can discuss the security and all those issues, but at least then it's out of your computer and onto another media that would easily be backed up. So you can do that very easily. What I had been doing was doing both, and that was a little redundant. I would back this up to the spot where it is usually asking to, the C drive on the RUM&N file and in NDS3 and into backups. So that way I was getting prompted every 3 days to back up onto my computer, and then every 3 days it would make a backup going into the cloud. What I may do is just back this up every 14 days so I have a current inside my computer and then the automatic outside. So doing that will allow me to do that. The other idea was if you're using the external file system, and that again is covered on another set of videos, the system will automatically create an external set of .nds files, and those are handy to email back and forth for other people to look at a recipe. Maybe you would like to have a second set of eyes looking at a recipe. Easy for that to be done. And then you can also store your files back in there so that you would have a .nds file, an external file. But inside of that system, you enable the backup and the recipes. Again, that's on another tutorial. But you can also set this folder, as I've set it up, into Dropbox, and it will create the internal file structure of my farm files externally into the NDS session files that it automatically creates. And you can take the reports, put them in the same spot so that you will actually have an external set of NDS files inside of that system. So here I would have this set of recipes. This mimics the internal file structure I have, and you can see that I have all of my recipes and any PDFs stored in there. And I took this idea off of a group we were talking with. I just put that whole folder in my Dropbox NDS session files. So now I have my data backed up to the cloud, and we can have a discussion on that back and forth, whether that's secure or not. Again, that's your decision, but we are getting a lot of people who lose data. And so using the tools that are within the NDS, basically going into settings and then looking at where your backup is located, where that is. You can use the manual or the automatic. And then you can also take your external file system. Again, if you're not familiar with that, there's another tutorial about that. And you can actually put that so every recipe has an external file that's stored also, but any report I generate is also stored out there. And again, it's put up in the cloud, and that is your decision. But please, it's a very traumatic experience to lose data. And as one guy said, he would supply the graphics for this of him actually throwing up when he realized that a lot of his data is gone. So please, just a precautionary, use the functions within NDS and back up your data. And hopefully when that time comes, it'll be an easy reinstall and getting you back up and going. Thanks a lot.